Hello everybody, welcome into the Swing Shop. I'm Jonathan Moore here with Brian Miller, and we are going to talk to you today a little bit of an inside scoop on how we teach hitting. Over the years, it's very obvious that hitting has kind of become more complicated, harder to understand for kids, coaches, parents, people of all ages, and we're here to set the record straight. There is a right way to do this, an efficient way to do this, and we're going to show you the most simple and easy way to teach yourself how to hit.
All right, guys, first thing you want to think about when doing any kind of training or drills is stability. I got to make sure I have a good base and good core when I'm going into any kind of work in order to have good direction, good speed, and good control.
Yeah.
Okay? So the first thing I really want to talk about and think about when we're on the tee is our lower half. Before anything else, we've got to have a good base in the ground to be able to manage all this power and speed we're about to try to create. Okay, the next thing that's going to help us keep our line and keep that direction that we're going to go on is going to be our abs. Okay, if both of these are working together properly, we're going to have a lot more speed, a lot more control, and it's going to be a lot easier training session than if we didn't. Okay?
Yeah, and I would go in to say, I mean, you say working properly. A lot of folks will think tight abs, tight core, and they think movement. We're not talking about movement here. The first thing we're going to get into is going to be the hands, and you're going to see that the biggest thing about doing these drills correctly and seeing the results you want is determined based on how stable you are from here down, how still you are, using your abs and your legs to keep yourself still. So core stability, lower half stability is going to be so huge in everything else you're going to see in the rest of this video. So with that being said, we're going to get right into the first drill, the one-hand drill. As you can see, Brian's got a CAMWOOD bats, one-hand trainer right here. We are so huge on using these bats when you do these drills. Because of the weight, you're going to be able to feel the difference in when you're right and when you're wrong. And it's also going to be able to build the strength in your hands, in your arms, in your core, and in your legs as well. So we're using the one-hand trainer to go through a one-hand drill. The reason we do this drill is mainly for bat path. Nothing else in your swing matters if your bat path isn't good. The whole purpose of hitting is to try to make contact on the sweet spot. We want the ball to be hit hard. We want backspin, we want line drives, and all of that is determined off of the bat path. We have to start with the bottom hand. The bottom hand is the closest hand to the pitch that's moving in here to us. So Brian's going to, you'll see him get set up right here. We always start with this pitch on the outside corner because we're working on properly staying inside. As he gets set, he's going to really make sure his legs are locked in, his core is nice and stable. He's going to have a loose arm, and we're focusing on direction. Everything is directed back to the ball that's traveling to us. Right inside the ball, straight line A to B, driving that hand inside the ball, letting the barrel whip through naturally. Good. Good. One more. Not bad. Give me one more. Very good. You can see here all of the balls he hit go to the same direction. Obviously, there's some he misses more on top, some he misses more underneath. That right there is the main reason we train with the CAMWOOD bat. The CAMWOOD bat really makes you control your muscles, control your path, and try to keep it level. Gets you out of this, gets you out of this. So the one-hand drills, the first drill we start with improving our bat path. Set that tee up on the outside corner. Make sure you're set up stable in the ground, and all we're focusing on is that bottom hand, taking proper path, good direction, down inside the ball. So now the next thing we're moving into, as you can see here, Brian's working two hands. Once we figure out the path with one hand, again, ball's sitting still, so we have to understand how to hit it with one hand. Once we figure that out, we move into two. Nice and controlled. Still kind of see sometimes we miss a little bit, but that's the whole purpose of repping these drills, trying to build consistency. Very good. Still working on staying straight, working that lead hand. The only thing our top hand's doing in this drill is supporting the weight of the bat. Very good. Okay. Obviously, we have a heavier bat. So it's going to take a little more effort, a little more energy to move that bat. Talk to me, Brian, a little bit about what you're feeling with your top hand and what you're feeling with your speed. I know speed is a big, big, big key here.
Oh yeah. Well, the first thing you're going to really want to think about is the lower half. Okay. If you were to notice in the first drill, one-handers, I was a little closer with my legs. I'm getting this heavier weight in my hand. I got to get a little bit more base on me to support that weight. After that, everything else up here next to my hands is loose. The only thing I'm thinking about is this front elbow, driving fast and hard past the ball. Once I get past it, I don't want to keep driving with that elbow. I want to go out of the zone. I want to feel once I get that quick drive, that quick direction, I got to release it through to get that good backspin and good direction going back towards the ball.
Absolutely. I mean, we're talking about bat speed. To me, that's the main purpose besides bat path is the speed. You can somewhat improve your hand path, but if your hands are not working exactly properly, they're not driving elbow and releasing. If they're driving elbow and continuing to pull, you're not really getting the speed you want. You're not going to get the contacts you want. So it's very important before you move into anything else that you understand these two drills, you master these two drills, and you teach yourself how to have good bat path. Contact is based off a bat path, so improve yours. Taking a quick break to let you know, if you're having any issues in your in-game success, this is the system for you. There's no doubt about it. Everything that we do inside of this program can help you fix those issues. So click the link in the description, head over and find out how the Swing Shop can help you hit more official. All right, so your hands are fixed in a sense. Now we have to continue to rep those drills, continue to perfect them. To me, you have to perfect those drills. You can never be too good. But once your hands understand what they're doing, then we can start really focusing on creating an actual solid, powerful swing. That comes in the lower half. Okay. When your lower half comes into play, now you've got moving parts. You've got a lot of back and forth movement. A lot of folks talk about big load back, high leg kicks, all this kind of stuff. It just means you have more things to control. And with that, your rhythm and your tempo is going to be a big key. Talk about that, Brian.
Well, a big thing in any kind of direction, fire consistency, contact consistency, result consistency is based off a consistent tempo. If I have the same start every single time, my fire is going to be the same, my zone is going to be the same, and mostly my success is probably going to be relatively consistent and the same. And that's what we got to start thinking about when we start getting into a little bit of a moving with our lower half. We have to get a very more consistent tempo, consistent start, so it'll be a lot easier to have a better result. Yeah,
the lower half's going to add, it's going to add power to your swing. It's going to add direction to your swing. You'll find out that the lower half is where we start the full swing. The full swing should start from the ground, from that back knee. That's what we're fixing to get into, is teaching that back knee how to start the swing. But with that, the knee has to have direction. The knee is also providing power. If your direction's off with your knee, your power's off, now your hands are off. So everything now is going to be affected by your lower half. If your lower half isn't working properly, then your hands drills aren't going to really help you out as much. You'll still kind of hit the ball solid, but the result isn't going to be the same. So we're moving into a drill we call the weight shift drill. Big drill here that we like because it teaches that rhythm, that tempo, and it also teaches us a little bit about a stiff front side, how to control that weight in between our legs and get that weight moving up, that momentum moving up through the ball so we get that good backspin line drive. All right, so here Brian's set up. The only thing he's going to focus on is getting a nice, easy load into that back leg and firing the top of that knee directionally up inside the ball, back towards where the pitch would be in a game. Okay? Everything's trying to go back to the ball, so we're trying to meet this ball, knee driving up, and our hands are going to follow that knee nice and smoothly inside the ball. Not bad. Not bad. It's a really good drill to feel your tempo, to start feeling rhythm. You'll also feel when your lower half and your upper body get a little bit disconnected. The rotation, very good. The rotation in the swing is only happening down low. His upper body looks like it turns a little bit, but that's because his knee's firing. There's no way to keep my upper body completely straight when my knee fires. If we're doing this, as our knee's trying to fire, now we're pulling off. So we really got to feel the same thing as the hands. Solid lower half, solid core, knees driving up. Two more.
Got a little tall there. Got to stay in my legs. Stay down.
Anybody that's having issues hitting ground balls, this is your drill right here. This is your fix. Teaches us to keep that weight underneath the ball. The only obvious way for this ball to go in the air is for power to come from the bottom. So we've got to learn how to keep our weight down and direct it up through the ball so we get that good backspin line drive. All right, so weight shift and then pipe. The last drill that we're going to look at is the pipe drill. Okay, a lot of times we'll have kids put their foot on a pipe. That's why we call it the pipe drill, just in case they have issues keeping their weight up out of the ground. But all Brian's going to do is get set up and turn his foot. All right, we're turning this foot because we're about to start working the rotation into the swing.
Yep.
A lot of folks think the rotation is up here in the shoulders. It's not. The rotation is down low. We're trying to create a whip. This is the whip.
Yep.
That's the whip. So if this is turning while it's trying to whip, we're not getting good direction. We're not getting really good whip through the zone.
Yep.
So we've got to learn how to create the rotation through the lower half, the back hip. The only hip we're focused on is the back one.
Yep.
You'll see when Brian gets set up here, if it's possible that his hips may be a little bit open, which is fine because it means he's going to have to load those hips back parallel to that line so that he can fire with good direction inside the ball.
Yep.
Once he gets loaded into that hip, his front hip is trying to hold its spot.
Yep.
It's trying to hold its direction towards the pitcher. We're hitting against that stiff front side, trying to create some resistance so that when this hip goes, we really get a lot of speed through our hands driving inside that ball. Not bad. Just working, rotating that hip. You can see Brian is finishing with a real good emphasis on staying in his legs. A lot of times kids will want to push out of this drill. It's going to be tough. They're going to hit a lot of ground balls because their weight's not staying underneath the ball. Good ball. You can't let your weight get up into here. You can't let your power get up top. You've got to stay down and use your quads, your calves, and that back hip to start this swing and generate this direction. Not bad. A lot of folks would say, man, it looks like he's taking a full swing. This is the last drill before we put the full swing into play.
Yep.
This should feel, at this point, about what your full swing should feel like. When Brian goes to take a full swing, you're not going to see his feet change into position. He's just going to turn his back foot and put it down.
Yep.
Now he's ready to hit. Everything you have to do, you could do right there where your feet are at.
Yep.
But you have to learn it. You have to understand it. None of this stuff that we're talking about or that we're teaching is going to do any good for you if you don't listen to what we're saying and you don't try to make it make sense to the game. Okay? We're talking about a fastball moving in a straight line.
Yep.
Everybody's going to see one in every at bat that you have. If you can hit that ball, you can be a good hitter, especially if you can hit it with backspin and hit it consistently.
Yeah.
But it takes the work. It takes the process. You need these drills. You need this bat. So please, check us out. Follow the link into the description and go get you the CAMWOOD program and train with us, the Swing Shop, right here at Hunt Moore Official.